Coming into this event, I felt terrified, but also just very excited about the opportunity to put myself in a very uncomfortable situation. I feel like, and maybe David Goggins has said it, but just getting comfortable with discomfort is something that I've learned to do in the last couple of years of my life. And through those times, I've really just evolved and grown as a person. I feel like anything that's come easy in life is rarely worth mentioning. So for me, it's always kind of been adversity has intrigued me to do the impossible. And I did not think that climbing this mountain 13 times was really possible for me, but I was going to give it a go and do my best. 2019, I had lost 40 pounds. I was in the best shape of my life. I was very strong. I just climbed a glacier with a couple of friends and dominated that mountain. I mean, I loved the training. I had so much time to do all the training. I followed it to a T. I was strong. I was confident. I was 100% capable. Then I found out I was pregnant around the same time. Well, first I herniated a disc while training for that, but I still climbed that mountain even with a herniated disc in my neck. Okay, so let's say we have not done 100% of the training, but maybe you like 60. So we know that we might be slow and maybe a little slower, but our goal was to like at least get to 12 before we quit. So like October, I signed up. Mid-October, I herniated the disc. So I had neck surgery. And then 1st of November, I found out I was pregnant. So in the last 2 years, you know, through a very traumatic surgery to carrying a baby for 9 months and then birthing her. And then COVID, you know, it just, my body was not where it needed to be. Around 4 to 6 months postpartum, I was really struggling with taking care of myself. I didn't really know what postpartum depression meant because I don't feel like I'm a depressed person, but I felt myself taking care of everybody but myself.
Yeah, you know, just a little doubt, a little pain. My hips are screaming.
This year, on a whim, I just said, I have to do this because it'll be something for me. Like this whole year has been, I feel like, for everyone else, for my family, for my job, for my daughter, for my home, and I just needed this for me. But I was terrified because I knew coming in here, I mean, I had a steroid injection shot 48 hours before I landed here because of my hip and back pain, that I just was, you know, disabled in some ways from a muscular standpoint, but I feel like all people have ailments, you know, and how are they going to let those things limit them? And I just thought showing up was half the battle, getting here and leaving it all out on the mountain. And
Let's get it. It's already done, right?
That's what I did. 13 was the goal, but for this event, 8 was a major success for me. I mean, I've never done anything like that. I've climbed some mountains, but maybe 6,000 feet. So 20,000 feet, 20 hours straight. It really broke me at times, and I'm leaving a better person.
I'm gonna count us down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Today's our day, guys. We only have to be good. We have to be great for one day. That's it. One day, and today is that day. Today is the day where we empty the tank. We leave it all out there. We got 36 hours. That's a lot of time. And we have one job. Our job is to attack this mountain and not stop. We don't want to go home with any regrets. We want to go home and say we left it all out. Because no matter how many summits we get, if we get our goal, nobody can take it away from us.
and just really reprioritizing my life and focusing on what matters. And that's my family and my health. Hey, Mama. Can you wave? Hi, Rain. Hi. Hi, baby girl. I love you. All right, well, I'm going to enjoy this ride down, get a little rest, get back to it.
Awesome. How is it?
Awesome. Here's the track.
1 out of 10, how hard is it?
Out of 10?
Yeah.
I mean, the first one, I'd give it an 8, but, you know, it's the first one. And, you know, giving back and doing for others. This event, there's so many volunteers. There's so many great people who just want to see humanity really thrive. And everyone I met here, including you, you guys do that. And that's the type of people I want to surround myself with. That's the type of life I want to live. I want to do great things, serve others, and make a difference.
All right, Miss Whitney. Got to brand that board? Okay, let's do it. Down on this end. Yeah. Right there. Working on a set number 2. I love it. All right, so your name's Jessica, right? Are you Jessica? How do you get it? How do
One down.
I mean it. It's okay. Only 7.
We'll get better.
You got 12
We'll
more.
get stronger.
You got 12 more. You can do it.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah, that was
All right.
You ready to go up?
not so bad. Awesome.
There was a family who crossed the finish line at the top today. I was up there cheering them on. It was a gentleman named Brian, and his wife was there to greet him, and they had 3 young kids. And I just happened to be at the finish line, so I video recorded it. And the whole time, of course, I'm climbing, I'm thinking of her. I FaceTimed her a few times in the gondola. But my point in all that is they came off the finish line, and I said to Brian and his wife, I said, I recorded you guys coming across because he took his kids through the finish line. And I said, it was such a great video. No one took it. I just want to share it with you. And she was so sweet. She said, well, you know, how many did you do? And I said 8 this time, but I'll do 13 the next time. And she goes, Brian did 8 his first time, and this was his second time. And here he is coming across it with a red hat. So even just that moment, that family, it was just very empowering for me to know that, like, I'm not going to do this in 2022. I just have too much on my plate. But 2023, I'm going to come back and I'm going to bring Rain with me, and she's going to cross that red carpet with me. So I'm really pumped about that. Yeah.
Almost to the top. First down.
I've always lived a very busy, fast-paced, kind of selfish life in the sense that I'm on the road a lot. I've traveled a lot. I've done a lot of things, and having her has really put a lot of life into perspective to just slow down and focus on these moments, because they're ever fleeting. And on that mountain, every step was a moment. Every step was a breath. You know, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm going to do this. I have to do this. I can do this. And that's what life's all about, you know, showing up, making the decision, giving it 100%. And I feel like I left 100% out there on the mountain. But 13 is the goal, and I will be back to do that. My favorite part would be, I follow a lot of the folks who run this event, so like Colin and Chad Wright and Jesse Itzler. I follow a lot of those guys, which is how I found the event originally, because of their mindset, the way that they see and perceive life. You know, to live an extraordinary life, you have to do extraordinary things, and this event is so extraordinary and remarkable in how it's really bringing Everest to the average person if we aren't going to go and climb the actual mountain. And so my favorite part of this event over the last few days has been meeting like-minded people who also have a desire to live an extraordinary life, put themselves in uncomfortable situations, and just see them push through the suffering. You know, where there's suffering, there's growth, and there was a lot of growth on this mountain for myself and many people. And just to see that was just the best of humanity. And I think at the end of the day, it's not your job, it's not the money you make, it's not the car you drive, it's the people around you and how you serve them and can support them and vice versa, and just be a good human being. And this whole event was about a bunch of amazing human beings showing up for each other.
Well then, come on, brother, let's do it.
Jazz hands. Love her.
And so that was awesome. I didn't have a lot of people to hike with. I was either too fast or too slow, which was kind of a bummer because I did climb all 8 summits by myself. I listened to several books, which was great. But it was really hard to talk even and while climbing. So I think next time, a lot of lessons learned, spend more time, people are passing me, try to like rise up and try to follow their pace. I would stop too many times. And so then I would lose them in sight. And on those night hikes, I think it's so important to have someone with you because I kept looking around for, like snakes and deer. This last night I was so exhausted. I didn't get to appreciate it, but this morning I started back at 3 a.m. and that one was beautiful. It was so quiet. The stars were amazing. It was peaceful. It wasn't as dark as it was, earlier in the evening. So I loved starting early. So again, a lot of lessons I've learned through this. And again, the biggest lesson I think for me is just life is so busy, and all of us are juggling a lot of things through this last 2 years. Everyone from, a videographer to people who run major corporations, like all of our lives have been tremendously turned upside down in one way or another. And focusing back on what really matters. Again, it's God first, your family, and then your health and your job, things are both important, but your job comes last, really. And I think America and myself has put work at the forefront for so long that this has reminded me that life seems very hectic and stressful because I'm prioritizing the wrong things. So I'm looking forward to reprioritizing life and focusing on the things that matter and that can't be bought, which is that quality time with Rain and my family and myself. Yeah, I would recommend this event to anyone who is looking to pivot their life in some way, whether they're on the highest of high or the lowest of low. Just show up. I read a book by Bill Gates right after college, said Showing Up for Life. And it was one of the most impactful books. You may not have all the details and you may not be 100% ready. I was very honest with everyone that I followed the training maybe 50%. And so therefore my effort was 50% and my outcome was 50%. I didn't complete the 13. And so, but a lot of people are afraid to show up because they don't know the details, or they're not really ready, or they haven't quite figured it out, or they don't think they're capable. And I didn't know if I was capable, but I showed up. And 8 summits is really amazing. There's a lot of people here who've done less, and there's a lot of people here who've done way more than that. But I'm really impressed that I stuck with it for that long in my head by myself for 20 hours. So that's why, show up, just get there. There's never a perfect time to do most great things in life. You just have to show up and do them. And don't know all the details, just do it. So like Nike says, just do it. And Turner was great. I FaceTimed him and talked to him a lot. He's my boyfriend. And, every time he was so encouraging, don't stop, don't quit, you have this. And I feel like it's easy to say when you're on the other end of the phone. But in some sense, he's probably right. I probably could have kept going. Probably could have done it. But it would just be nice if they were here and I could see what I was doing and actually be alongside me to help cheer me on and understand what I'm really going through. It's really hard to understand what someone's going through if you're not in their shoes. And now I know better, and I will put it as a priority on my training, and I won't just show up, at 50%. I will show up at 100%, and my ducks will be in a row, and we'll get that red hat.
work for 2 weeks straight, you guys. Oh yeah. You get all of our karaoke. It's so good. Chad, do you think Chad knows this song?
And I think everyone has a story, right? And the beauty of life is being able to tell your story. And what was cool about this mountain is you really didn't even have to speak to much people. You could see their story. It was written all over them with each step they took up this mountain. Thankfully, I had the chance to meet a few people and then they actually engage in their story. But every single person that was here today has battled or was battling something. There was a lot, there was several men that I met who, a year ago or even most recently were alcoholics. And here they were, they were going to lose everything if they didn't clean up their life. And they're doing the right things to clean up their life, to women who were walking because they lost their husbands this year. And I mean, everyone has a purpose. Everyone has a story. And again, a lot of these things start with severe suffering that's pushing them to do great things. Whether they're walking for their husband or they're walking for cancer research or they're walking because they're getting rid of their addictions to live a better, healthier life. Or for me, I just have always felt like I'm never enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not enough. And my struggle is believing that I am enough. And I think a lot of people walk through life and feel like they're a fraud. Imposter syndrome, I think they call it. And I've struggled with that in my life. And something like this, you can't fake summiting this mountain 13 times. Either you do it or you don't. And there's no one doing it for you. And I'm here to tell you, those 13 hikes and those 8 hikes that I witnessed were so tremendous, and just all the mental, physical, emotional strain. And you can't fake that. And that is real power. If you can do that and push through it, you're gonna come out a much greater human being on the other side.
Things started to go a different direction. Elbrus, 18,510 feet. There's those 8 hikes that it took you. This is the top of Europe, and 18.4 miles. And this is who attained that. Connie Berry, Charity Bird, Vincent Bobola, Amy Hand, Kate Hobbs, Dobson Vickers, and Whitney Walter.
And I would say almost every single person here, and a lot of us, every human, we all have our struggles, we all have our challenges, and either we're going to let them make us or break us. And I think that the people here are willing to let those struggles make them, and that's why they chose this. And I will choose it again as well, and hopefully bring a whole crew of friends with me next time when I can get back home and share with them just how powerful this was. If there's one thing I could do in life, it would be just to live a life, to leave a legacy that people, when they mention my name, it's about how I made them believe or inspired them that they could do something that they never thought they could, because if Whitney can do it, then I can do it, kind of thing. And not that I do all the greatest things, by no means, but I'm an average person living a very, average life, so to speak, and find myself doing a lot of extraordinary things, and hope that I can pass that on to some of those around me.